got one question. Who gave Umbrella funding to make a small town? And why did they let them name it New Raccoon City?
This little cobweb potion, you'll fall into dark devotion.
Ladies, gentlemen, and everyone on the non-binary spectrum, my name is Miss Hexley, and I am reviewing episode 1 of the new Netflix Resident Evil series. If you don't know, somehow, what the story is about, the story centers on Jade and Billy Wesker, the daughters of Albert Wesker. Yes, that one. Who looks like this now, because if you don't remember, last time we saw Albert, he was getting DP'd by some rockets. Ever since then, there's been a lot of theories and such about if he's really dead or when he returns, and it looks like this series is kind of doing its own interpretation of the whole thing. Though, I'm here for them just casting Lance Reddick as Wesker and being like,
"Are you gonna arrest me? Are you gonna give me a ticket?"
I'm not gonna binge recap the series in one video because I don't have the attention span for binging anymore like I used to. I'm getting up there in my years. But also, I want to actually digest each episode, mindful watching. I've been practicing it lately. Honestly, so far, a lot of it comes off as some sort of alternate timeline type of thing. I don't know where to clock it yet. But it does give off vibes that's like, if you try to connect it too much to the game timeline or the old Wes Anderson movie timelines, you're gonna walk away disappointed. It's its own thing set in its own timeline. One thing I'm not feeling so far is the timeline switches. Not that I'm against writing like that, but it comes off like, on one hand, you've got two sisters experiencing this new kids on the block in this Stepford town, but then we go smack into the zombie apocalypse. It clearly has its purpose, but I'm on the fence about it. But whatever, let's talk episode 1. Welcome to New Raccoon City. So the episode starts with Jade Wesker waking up in this up version of London in 2036. She's talking about how scientists thought the world was going to end by then, but it actually ended 14 years earlier. She has a video call with her daughter and her husband, and we learn she's been gone for 6 months. So what she's doing is basically studying the zombies, who they call zeros in the series because God forbid you call them zombies. I know the reasoning behind why shows and shit don't do it, but still. So she's studying them, she's testing with a rabbit. I think she's testing how more intelligent the virus is getting. All the zeros try to catch the rabbit. She set out, but the rabbit escapes and they legit make no attempt to chase it. Then she ends up cutting herself and they get her scent, so she ends up using this device that burns them all alive. I also want to point out that I really love adult Jade's hairstyle. Of course, with the zombies being burnt, all of her research is gone, but she literally cannot be upset too long because this giant earthworm looking thing comes out of the ground and she starts booking it. It reminds me of that one scene in Men in Black 2 where they fight the giant worm in the subway. Then we hop right back to 2022, specifically 3 months before the end. In South Africa, I think it's mentioned. So we're with young Jade now, and she's in the car with her sister Billy and her dad, Albert Wesker. They're driving through this absolutely colorless suburban neighborhood. Like, you'd be forgiven for thinking the scene was in grayscale for a moment. Already, that's suspicious. Then the people living here are wearing either white, gray, or totally muted colors. The Weskers have color, and then there's some flora around that still has their color. Jade is very much against the move, but Billy is willing to give it a shot. I also laughed when Jade is like, we're in South Africa, but there's only like 5 black people, because I was like, someone's never heard of apartheid. It would be on brand. Hell, Irania is still a thing. Let me say, Jade's got a mouth. Oh my god. She's also a grade A instigator, and I'm kind of here for it. The sisters are butting heads about the move. Billy is the one that got in more trouble and had issues, which is why she's more okay with the move than Jade. The flashback ends with Billy finding this worm thingy, and then we're back to the giant worm, which yanks adult Jade by the leg and just like pro wrestling slams her against the windshield of a car. She's rescued by some scavengers, and they call her one of the survivors because of the number on her arm. And it's explained more later on in the episode that survivors were people who were in the New Raccoon City outbreak. Back to the past, Wesker is taking blood from Billy, but Jade takes her own, and she says this line that I thought was funny in an out-of-pocket way.
You forgot my sample.
Hold on. Oh, you took that yourself?
I can work a needle. It's gonna be awesome at heroin.
We learn that every 2 weeks they get blood samples taken, and they joke about why. Billy is revealed to have some anger issues, which may or may not be related to why in the next scene we see Wesker injecting himself with their blood, specifically Jade's blood. Maybe it has something to do with his potential resurrection in their birth, because like how in RE5 he needed these injections to keep himself stable, so it could be along those lines, because Billy ends up talking about how she and Jade are twins delivered on the same day with different egg donors, so it could be something completely engineered for the both of them to be compatible with whatever injections Wesker needs now. Next, we're at their first day of school. Jade is hanging with people, and even though she calls Billy over, Billy chooses to sit alone. Then we see this girl, Tammy, basically getting that outcast treatment, and your first thought is obviously, oh, they're gonna get along because they're both outcasts, right?
No.
Because Tammy is a bitch. She comes over to Billy, and this is where Billy talks about the whole egg donor thing, because Tammy's like, y'all are twins? After she explains it, Tammy is just like, oh, so you're freaks? And it's like, whoa, where did that come from? Then she mocks Billy for being a vegan, and she's like, oh, you're a vegan? Let me tell you how I shot a deer. And then she essentially starts threatening her like, when the end of the world comes, we eat vegans first. On one hand, Tammy, do you need a hug? On the other hand, she's not wrong per se. For legal reasons, I'm not condoning cannibalism, but I am saying that when we eat animal meat, we eat animals that are herbivores. That's why so many people don't like eating pork, because pigs will eat anything. Once again, for legal reasons, that's a joke. I don't know the punchline, just say pigs flying or some shit. Billy ends up flipping off Tammy and they get into a fight, but Billy doesn't really defend herself because she's trying to achieve the pacifist ending. Then we get this commercial for something called Joy, which Umbrella is making, so suspect. It's an ad that Wesker's not cool with because he wants to convey a different message, and so far Wesker's really just giving dad who works too much to pay attention to his kids. I wasn't really expecting him to be like some sort of dictator with his kids because it's a bit too cartoony and simple, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna say making a character we know as someone who is pro-eugenics, evil, 24/7 is juvenile, or that anytime a villain has children or loved ones, they need to be abusive in any way that leaves no room for anything else. Does anyone get what I'm trying to say?
No.
Whatever. Point is, I'm not expecting this 24/7, but it's still kind of weird just seeing Wesker having a work casual FaceTime only to be immediately caught off guard by his daughter storming in and yell at him. Look at this man. I honestly love that they gave Wesker daughters because I feel like Wesker is 100% a girl dad. He definitely did princess tea parties with them. Also, shout out to Billy's emotional support dog.
Pablo!
I do like the relationship Billy and Jade have when they're younger. I know it's mostly just anime that ruins seeing siblings' relationship on TV because they're constantly written by people who I feel either don't have siblings or are just filling in some porn trope. I hate when they say big brother or little sister because it feels so fake. Like, where are the siblings cursing each other out with love? Because my brother is the recipient of several fugly sluts a day. Where's the siblings that tell your mama jokes knowing damn well they got the same mama? Billy and Jade probably don't do that, but they still feel like siblings. The cool one and the mentally unstable one. That's me and my older sister. I'll let you guess which one I am.
Actually got a Molotov. She just set herself on fire. Actually, why did you do that?
Jade is once again being an instigator because Billy's like, oh, I should apologize because I shouldn't have flipped her off. And Jade's like, if you don't go punch that bitch in the tit. But Billy's like, I don't want people to think I'm psycho again. Like, seriously, Jade is just like, and I'm a bad influence because I'm just sitting there like, girl, if you don't go in there and show Tammy why your dad was the antagonist of multiple Resident Evil games and stop playing, don't ever let me try to encourage your children. We're back in the present and Jade wakes up at the camp of the scavengers who often trade with Richies and all that. Jade wants to leave and get back to her camp, but because the group's helicopter is away, they can't go anywhere. And Jade suggests driving, but Homeboy quickly shows that driving is not an option. Back to the past, Jade is trying to encourage Billy to punch Tammy, and Billy ends up trying to apologize and make friends, to which Tammy smushes some sandwich in her face. Now, I'm not one to condone bullying in most cases, but Billy, why the f did you think that was gonna work? This girl was antagonizing you since she spoke to you. You apologizing wasn't gonna do shit. The only positive would be that she'd be your new friend that threatens to beat you up when you toe out a line. What's not clicking?
What's not clicking? What's not clicking?
I will say though, I wanted Jade to just punch her, but Jade didn't. This is why I say Jade is an instigator, because if she was really about that, she would have started beating up Tammy the first time, and she would have punched Tammy the second time. Not only that, but it's what she does later that further proves my point. We get to Wesker, who's being shown some outbreak that happened in Tijuana, and it's time for the classic Umbrella cover-up. We're mostly left to assume that it's zombies, but the person recording says, "Why won't he die?" And then when they talk about casualties, they say 6 injured and 3 dead. So it comes off that it's not a big outbreak, but it's something concerning, and it might have something to do with the joy meds. Then there's talk about something happening again, so we'll see what that is later in this season. We go back to the school and we're following Tammy, who's on her way to the bathroom, and she's being followed by someone in a raccoon mascot mask. Apparently the stalls and the bathrooms of the school don't have locks, because the attacker just busts in and punches her in the head. Billy ends up getting blamed because they found the mask in her locker. In the principal's office, she's being berated, not by the principal, but by Tammy's dad, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna press charges, you have issues." And as a responsible adult, you're kind of watching this like, why is this man being allowed to talk to this child that way without their parent present? Now we get to my favorite scene that solidifies that I'm perfectly fine with girl dad Wesker, because Wesker comes into the office, sits down, and the other dude's fate is sealed. So New Raccoon City is basically like a place where mostly everyone works in the same company, and the company gives them the privilege of being able to live here, like a mining town type of thing. So Wesker is immediately like, "You threatened my daughter." He asks him his name and is like, "What do you do for Umbrella, Dave?" And Dave's just like, "I'm a server admin." And he says it real proud too. Then Wesker's like, "Oh, how many people can do your job? 1,000? 10,000? Do you know how many people can do my job? 1, and that's me. Umbrella needs me. So what would happen if I call the people that own this town and tell them that I'm gonna quit unless they fire you?" And he keeps going. No, not just fire, but get you blacklisted from every tech company in the world, and not even Pornhub would glance at your resume. And I paused it, sat there, and was like, "Yep, that's Wesker." He didn't even stop there, because dude was like, "Fine, we won't press charges." And Wesker makes Tammy apologize twice because she attacked her twice. Wesker made this man his footstool in front of his kid. In this moment, I don't know if Billy was impressed or a little scared about what was happening. Wesker even gets Billy a day off, like, Tea Party dad, I'm saying. Wesker's the type of parent that would tell you his kid deserves to be the lead in the school play. The type of parent that would threaten coaches for having his kid bench. So then they walk out, and Wesker invites Billy to come to the lab for like a bring one of your kids to work day. Jade comes running, asking what happened, and Billy instantly realizes that it was Jade that attacked Tammy and planted the mask in her locker. So yeah, Jade is an instigator, because she could have just whooped Tammy's ass on her own, but she wanted the attention on Billy. This even goes for in the beginning when Jade is talking about all of the things Billy used to do that got her in trouble, and when Billy's like, "I want to change," Jade calls her boring. So you can kind of see the dynamic between the two. Again, I like their relationship, but the cracks are very much there. We get back to the present where Jade is talking with Tate, and she's explaining more about the virus, at least what she's studied from it. So it is the T virus in this show we're dealing with. She talks about the breakdown of senses and how they end up mostly relying on smell, because their eyes and ears stop functioning. She even says they're not dead, but their brains have been rewired. The zeros are basically zero straight, meaning that they're just carriers who want to spread the virus. She even goes into what happens when the virus cross species, which I'm assuming is just like animals, because you can't have an RE without zombie animals. Tate questions why Jade was out there as she goes in more into her job of simply studying and watching them and marking how they evolved, if they evolve at all. Her reasoning is basically that when the virus becomes weaker, it'll grow smarter and make the zombies more intelligent, and she's even like, we might have to just straight up live alongside this, like AIDS or Ebola. And if COVID has taught me anything, it's sad it's not gonna go well. Then there's more small talk until Tate reveals the double cross because an Umbrella team is on their way, and it's revealed that they have a bounty on survivors, and Jade is on that list. And number 1. Back to the past, Billy arrives at the lab and we don't see much of what she does there, but the important thing to take note of is the voice activated entrance doors and the fact that they're working on a Joy for children. So Joy being this type of antidepressant type medication packaged in a bottle like milk. So while Billy's waiting for her dad to show up, Billy catches a glimpse of a rabbit inside of a cage and she becomes suspicious that Umbrella is doing testing on animals. She also takes note of where the animal is being taken to. Back at the Wesker household, Jade comes in to apologize about setting Billy up, and Billy's like, okay, you want to make it up to me? Then come with me to investigate if Umbrella is testing on animals because they need to be exposed. So they steal Wesker's key card and head to the lab. They use their dad's voicemail to enter the building, which, on a realistic note, I feel shouldn't work, but suspicion of disbelief is a beautiful thing. We get back to the present and Jade is trying to reason with the scavengers that Umbrella is not just gonna reward them, and she's right. Umbrella and For the People do not go together. Never has. Never will. Hell, even with this blue Umbrella madness in the games, I don't trust them. I give them till Resident Evil 9 or 10 to be like, guess what? We're evil still. Back to the story, the Umbrella unit arrives and it's a bunch of soldiers with guns, and how no one in this camp is on edge already confuses me. This is why I think this takes place in an alternate but similar timeline, because there's no way that people would trust this company to keep their word if Umbrella's crimes weren't swept under the rug. Massively. Most people knew about Umbrella in the game timeline. I can't really remember if it was the same for the West timeline, but whatever. So this guy comes out, clearly the one in charge of the team. He seems to have this catchphrase, which is saying, cool. There's a scene that I can't tell if it was supposed to happen or not, where Homeboy trips when he's coming down the stairs. If it was an accident, it was good on them to keep it in, because it sets up this character's demeanor pretty good. Like, he's supposed to be threatening, but incompetent. And surprise, surprise, he shoots Tate in the face and the guards immediately unload on all the people at the camp. Then we get back to the past where Jade and Billy make it to where all the animals are being held. Billy goes around recording the animals, while Jade logs in using their dad's account. I don't know if it's completely in character for Wesker to be one of those people to use the same password for everything, but I think it's funny. Like, yeah, I know this is the guy that tries to end the world through eugenics, but he also uses password and sometimes adds a 1 for flair. Like I said, I'm here for Wesker being a complete dad. Jay finds the video of the Tijuana incident while Billy comes across a crate and she heard an animal whimpering and she lets it out to get a video of it, and this is where she f***s up. Cause guess what's in there? It's a Cerberus! Everyone's favorite doggy. So then it becomes a chase sequence as the two of them try to run and hide from the dog. At the same time, the alarm finally goes off, which means the two are locked inside with the dog. Honestly, this type of security always confuses me, because I know the purpose is to trap the intruder, but what if it's a gunman in there with all those people? What's that? Intruder alert? Lock everything down. What's that? They've got a gun? Those bitches inside better pray we get there in time. Bob and weave. Serpentine. They get back to the front entrance, and while they're trying to unlock it, the dog comes and ends up biting Billy on her shoulder before Jade can beat it to death with a fire extinguisher. But it's kind of too late because Billy is kind of... yeah. We finally get back to the present where they end up cornering Jade at a dead-end cliff, and Baxter says, "Your sister's been looking for you." It means that Billy didn't die in this hall, and she seems to be high level at Umbrella now, looking for Jade. Jade's just like, yeah, no. And she jumps off into the field of zeros below, and the episode ends there. So, what do I think so far? Well, by the mere existence of this video, I like its promises so far, and I'm definitely gonna stick with it. I will try to make a video after I finish the entire season with my final thoughts, but I'm not sure about review templates and structure, so give me a moment, okay? As I'm recording this, I'm in the middle of watching it right now, so maybe by the time I upload this, I'll be done, but who knows? I will say I'm easy to please, so I get excited for the references they leave scattered throughout the series so far. But yeah, those are my first impressions. I'm here for it. Hopefully it doesn't drop the ball. For me. Y'all be easy.
You threatened my daughter. What happens if I call the people that own this town, the people that pay you and me and her? What happens if I call them and I say that I'm going to quit unless they fire you? I don't want you fired. I want you blacklisted. I want it so that no tech company ever hires you. Not Apple, not Google. I want Pornhub to shred your resume.
Hey, what happened?
This bitch.
What the fuck do you want?
A life. I'll hand you over and I get a pass to Umbrella territory.